Ethan Carter stood in the middle of the glass office, surrounded by balloons, cake, and expensive gifts. His staff clapped and smiled. "Happy birthday, sir," they shouted. The table was full of designer watches, branded perfumes, and a sleek new laptop. Then, the elevator door opened. An old security guard in a faded uniform stepped out, holding a small, roughly wrapped box in his shaking hands. It was Eli. His shoes were worn out. His hands were rough. His eyes were tired but kind. He walked slowly toward Ethan. Everyone stared. One intern whispered, "What is he doing here?" Another laughed. "Maybe he brought a whistle as a gift." Eli stopped in front of Ethan and gave a small smile. "Sir, I know I am just the guard," he said softly, "but I brought something for you." He held out the little box with both hands. The wrapping paper was plain. The tape was crooked. It did not look rich or fancy. Ethan looked at the box, then at Eli. And he laughed. Loud. "Cold. What is this?" Ethan said. "Did you pick this from the trash?" Some staff chuckled. Eli's hands shook. "No, sir, Ethan snatched the box, opened it with one sharp pull, and frowned. Inside was a small old toy car. Faded. Scratched. Carefully cleaned, but clearly very cheap. The room went silent. Then Ethan held it up like a joke. "A toy car?" he shouted. "Are you serious? Do I look like a poor child to you?" He dropped the car on the floor. It bounced once and rolled near Eli's feet. Everyone watched. Eli looked down at the car. His eyes filled with tears. "Sir, this car, it's not just a toy," Eli whispered. "It belongs to—" "Enough," Ethan cut him off. "Take your cheap gift and get out. Security guards should stay at the gate, not in my party." People looked away. Some were ashamed. Others were scared to say anything. Eli bent down slowly, picked up the toy car with shaking fingers, and held it close to his chest. "Happy birthday, sir," he said quietly. He turned around and walked back to the elevator. No one stopped him. No one spoke. The elevator door closed. Ethan smirked and turned back to his guests. "Let's cut the cake," he said. But if he had known the truth behind that simple toy car, he would never have laughed. Because very soon, the same man he just insulted would be the reason Ethan fell to his knees. The cake was cut. People clapped. Music played in the background. But one person in the room couldn't enjoy any of it. Mia, Ethan's assistant, kept thinking about Eli. She had seen his eyes. The pain. The way he held that toy car like it was something precious. She walked up to Ethan while he checked his new watch. "Sir," Mia said quietly, "you shouldn't have spoken to Eli like that. He is old." He meant well. Ethan didn't even look at her. "Mia," he said, "I pay him to open the gate, not to give me emotional speeches." "But sir," she tried again. He looked really hurt. "Maybe the toy has some meaning. Sometimes poor people give from their heart, even if the thing is small." Ethan laughed dryly. "That's exactly the problem, Mia. Poor people always think feelings can replace money." He turned, looking around at his rich guests. "Tell me," he shouted in a joking tone, "should I trade this Rolex for a toy car from the security guard?" Some guests laughed. Others forced a smile. Mia's face fell. "If you were in her place, what would you do? Would you speak up? Or stay quiet to save your job?" Downstairs at the gate, Eli sat on a small plastic chair. He held the toy car in his palm. His eyes were wet. Another guard, a younger man named Cameron, sat beside him. "Baba, why do you let him talk to you like that?" Cameron asked softly. "He doesn't respect you. Just leave this job." Eli shook his head. His voice was calm, but full of sadness. "I'm not here for his respect," Eli said. "I'm here because I need to pay rent, and buy medicine for my wife." He looked at the small toy again. "And I'm here, because I made a promise." "A promise?" Cameron frowned. "To who?" Eli smiled sadly. "To a little boy, many years ago." He slowly put the toy car back in his pocket, close to his heart. Cameron wanted to ask more, but just then, a luxury car honked near the gate. Ethan's wife, Grace, and their little son, Liam, were arriving for the office celebration. Eli quickly wiped his eyes and stood up. He opened the gate with a polite bow. "Madam, welcome," he said. Grace smiled kindly. She was not like Ethan. "How are you, Eli?" she asked. "I'm fine, madam," he replied. Liam, around 7 years old, leaned out of the window. "Uncle Eli," he shouted happily. "Did you see my new remote car? Dad bought it for me." He showed a shiny, expensive car toy. Eli smiled softly. "Wow, it's beautiful," he said. "Take care of it, okay?" Liam laughed. "I will, uncle." The car drove in. As they passed, Grace noticed Eli's red eyes. She turned to look back through the rear window. Was he crying? She wondered. Upstairs, Ethan hugged his family. Liam ran around the office, showing his toy car to everyone. Look, he shouted, it even has lights. Ethan lifted him in his arms. That's my boy, he said proudly. You will never touch old, cheap toys like that guard tried to give me. What Ethan didn't know was that life was watching. And life has a way of turning. Very soon, his pride would be broken. And the man he laughed at would be standing above him. He had no idea that the cheap toy he just rejected had already saved his life once before. The office party ended late. People left one by one. The building became quiet. Outside, the city lights flickered like stars on the ground. Eli finished his shift at midnight. His back hurt. His legs were tired. But before going home, he took out the toy car again. In the dim light of the security cabin, he ran his finger over a small burn mark on the side of the toy. An old memory flashed before his eyes. Smoke. Fire. A crying child. I promised I'll never let anything happen to you, his younger voice echoed in his mind. He closed his eyes tightly. A tear rolled down his cheek. Then he put the toy back in his pocket. I kept my promise once, he whispered, and I will keep it again if needed. The next morning, the sky was cloudy. Grace was rushing. Ethan, we're late. She called. Liam has to be at school by 8. Liam sat at the table, playing with his remote car. Mom, just 2 more minutes, he begged. I'm making it jump over the juice glass. Grace laughed. Okay, 2 minutes only. Ethan walked in, checking something on his phone. Hurry up, Liam, he said. I have a big meeting. He didn't even sit. He grabbed his coffee and walked toward the door. Suddenly, crash! The glass hit the floor. Liam's toy car knocked it over. Orange juice and glass pieces spread everywhere. Ethan spun around. Liam! He shouted. Can't you be careful for once? Liam flinched. I am sorry, Dad, he stuttered. It was an accident. Grace stepped in front of him. Relax, Ethan, she said. He's just a child. Ethan shook his head. This is what happens when kids are given too much freedom, he snapped. Liam, go wait in the car. Liam lowered his head. His small shoulders shook. He walked out quietly, holding his toy car close. Grace sighed. If you keep talking to him like that, she said softly, one day he will be scared of you, not respect you. Ethan ignored her and walked out. At the office gate, Eli stood straight as Ethan's car arrived. He opened the door. Good morning, sir, he said gently. Ethan stepped out, still angry. Just watch the gate, he muttered, not even looking at Eli. Liam, however, smiled brightly. Uncle Eli. He shouted again. Look, I brought my car to school today. He made it drive on the pavement. Eli laughed softly. That's nice, Beta, he said. Play safe, okay? Grace came out of the car and smiled at Eli. Good morning, she greeted. Good morning, madam, Eli replied. Hours passed. The sun rose high. The office was busy. At around noon, Mia walked to the gate with some files. She saw Eli standing in the heat, wiping sweat from his forehead. Eli, did you have lunch? She asked. He smiled. Not yet, madam. I will, after my shift. She looked at his thin frame and sighed. She opened her lunchbox and handed him a sandwich. Please, she insisted. Share with me. His eyes softened. Thank you, madam, he said quietly. As they talked, they heard a scream. Liam. It was Grace's voice. It echoed from the parking area beside the building. Without thinking, Eli dropped the sandwich and ran. Mia ran behind him. They turned the corner and froze. Liam was lying on the ground near the steps. His toy car lay broken beside him. His lips were turning pale. His small chest moved very fast, then very slow. Grace was on her knees, shaking. Liam. Baby, open your eyes. She cried. Ethan ran in from the other side, panic in his eyes. What happened? He shouted. One moment he was running, Grace sobbed, and then he just collapsed. Liam's eyes fluttered. Dad, he whispered weakly. My chest hurts. Ethan's face went white. Mia, call an ambulance. He yelled. Mia's hands shook as she dialed. Hello? Emergency. Eli knelt down. He put his 2 fingers on Liam's neck, checking his pulse. He was surprisingly calm. His heartbeat is irregular, Eli said quickly. He needs to reach the hospital fast. Sir, there is a hospital just 5 minutes away. Ethan looked at Eli in shock. How do you know that? He asked. Eli didn't answer. He put his hand under Liam's head to support it. Madam, lift his legs slightly, Eli instructed softly. It will help blood flow to his heart. Grace did as he said, tears streaming down her face. Liam's eyes rolled back. The ambulance siren grew louder in the distance. Ethan grabbed Liam and carried him. His hands trembled. In that moment, he was not a rich CEO. He was just a terrified father. Please, please don't take my son, he whispered, voice shaking. They reached the hospital. Doctors rushed Liam to the emergency room. Wait outside, a nurse said. The doors closed. Ethan's legs almost gave up. He sat on a bench, his face buried in his hands. Grace sobbed into his shoulder. Mia stood with red eyes. Eli stood quietly in a corner, his cap in his hands. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, a doctor came out. Mr. Carter? He asked. Ethan jumped up. How is my son? He cried. Is he okay? The doctor's expression was serious. Your son's condition is critical, he said. He has a heart problem. We need to perform an emergency procedure right now. Grace gasped. Will he survive? She whispered. The doctor took a deep breath. Only if we get a blood donor in time, he said. He needs a very rare blood type. B negative. Ethan's heart dropped. I am O positive, he said. Take mine. Take anything. The doctor shook his head. We can't use it. It must be B negative. Does anyone in your family have this type? Grace shook her head slowly. No, we don't. The doctor checked his watch. We don't have much time, he said. We will also check our hospital bank. But if we don't find someone with B negative in the next few minutes. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Ethan felt his world collapsing. His legs weakened. He leaned against the wall. For the first time in a long time, he felt truly helpless. And then, from the end of the corridor, a calm, tired voice spoke. I am B negative, doctor. Everyone turned. It was Eli. The poor guard. The same man Ethan had mocked just yesterday. I'll give my blood, Eli said firmly. Please, save the boy. The doctor nodded, but what he revealed next would make Ethan's pride shatter into pieces. The doctor looked at Eli, surprised. You're B negative? He asked. Eli nodded. Yes, doctor. You can test it. Please don't waste time. The doctor signaled a nurse. Bring him in, he ordered. Start the tests. If he matches, we go ahead. Eli turned to Ethan. Sir, he said softly, your son will be okay. I won't let anything happen to him. Ethan stared at him. His throat felt dry. You'll do this for my son? He whispered. After what I said to you? Eli gave a small, sad smile. He is just a child, sir, he replied. Children are never guilty of their parents' mistakes. He followed the nurse inside. Ethan watched him go, his chest tight. Grace looked at Ethan with wet eyes. Do you see now? She said. The man you insulted is ready to save your son. Ethan had no words. Time passed. Ethan paced the corridor like a trapped animal. His mind replayed every second of the birthday party. Eli standing there, holding the toy car. His own voice saying, Did you pick this from the trash? He remembered Eli's tears. His shaking hands. His quiet, happy birthday, sir. He felt sick. If something happens to Eli because of this, Grace whispered, I will never forgive you, Ethan. He knew she meant it. The doors finally opened. The doctor walked out again. He took off his mask. This time he smiled. The surgery was successful, he said. Your son is stable now. We used Eli's blood. He saved your boy's life. Grace let out a loud sob of relief. She covered her mouth, crying. Can we see him? She asked. In a little while, the doctor replied. Let him rest. But for now, there's something you should know. He looked at Ethan. You don't remember me, do you, Mr. Carter? He asked. Ethan frowned. No. I'm sorry. Have we met before? The doctor smiled sadly. Years ago, he said. I was a junior doctor then. You were a little boy. Maybe 7 years old. You came to the hospital in the middle of the night. Smoke in your lungs. You were unconscious. Grace's eyes widened. Ethan, she whispered. Your father once told me you almost died as a child. The doctor nodded. Yes. There was a big fire in an old building. Many people were hurt. You were trapped on the 3rd floor. Everyone was afraid to go inside. The flames were too high. He glanced at the operating room. And do you know who carried you out of that fire? He asked softly. Ethan's heart started to pound. The doctor's eyes were gentle but sharp. It was Eli, he said. The same man who just gave his blood to your son. Silence. Everything went quiet. Even the noise of the hospital faded. Ethan's ears rang. What? He whispered. The doctor continued. He rushed into the building when everyone else stepped back. He wrapped you in his own shirt and held you close. He burned his hands and arms while shielding your small body. He paused. If he had been even a minute late, you would not be standing here today. Ethan felt the floor moving under his feet. Grace covered her mouth in shock. Mia, who had come closer, felt tears run down her face. The doctor went on. After that night, he used to come to the hospital every day, he said. He sat next to your bed, waiting for you to wake up. He never left you alone. But why? Ethan stammered. Why would he care so much about me? The doctor sighed. Ask him, he said. He's in the donor room. He just finished. They walked to the small room. Eli lay on a simple bed, a bandage on his arm, and 4 connected. He looked pale but peaceful. When he saw Ethan and Grace, he tried to sit up. Don't, Grace said gently. Please rest, Eli. She walked to him and held his hand. Thank you, she cried. You saved my son. Twice. Eli looked confused. Twice? Ethan asked, his voice shaking. Eli looked into his eyes. You remember nothing, sir? He asked softly. Ethan shook his head, tears forming. I was very young, he whispered. Eli gave a weak smile. Many years ago, he began, there was a small fire in the old Carter building. Your father was not there that night. I was just a simple guard then too. I heard you screaming from the 3rd floor. Everyone was scared. The stairs were full of smoke. He looked at his hands. They were stronger then, he said with a sad chuckle. I tied a wet cloth on my face and went in, Eli continued. I found you under a table, holding a little toy car and crying. You couldn't breathe. Ethan's eyes widened. A toy car? He whispered. Eli nodded. Yes. This one. He reached under his pillow and pulled out the same old toy car. The one he had tried to gift yesterday. Ethan stared at it. His childhood face flashed in his mind for a second. Him, small, scared, squeezing a toy car in a room full of smoke. I carried you out, Eli said. You were so light. You held my shirt so tight you almost tore it. He laughed softly, then coughed. I stayed with you in the hospital until your father came, Eli said. When you woke up, you called me Uncle Eli and gave me this car. He looked down at it with love. You said, this is my favorite. Keep it. So you don't forget me. A tear fell from Eli's eye onto the toy. I never had children, he said. So I kept it like my own son's gift. Ethan broke. Tears spilled from his eyes. His legs gave way. He fell on his knees beside Eli's bed. Not slowly. He dropped like his pride was too heavy to carry. Eli, he choked. I'm so sorry. He grabbed Eli's hand and pressed it to his forehead. I insulted you, Ethan cried. I laughed at your gift. I treated you like you were nothing. But you saved my life. You saved my son's life. I don't deserve your kindness. Eli's eyes filled again. He gently patted Ethan's head with his other hand. Sir, he whispered, a life is a life. Rich or poor, it is the same. The rich CEO, on his knees before the poor guard. People in the hallway watched in silence. Even the doctor looked moved. Mia wiped her tears. Grace cried openly. Eli, Ethan said, still kneeling. I swear, from today I will never look down on you or anyone again. Please forgive me. Eli smiled. I forgave you the moment you laughed, he said quietly. Because I knew, one day, life would teach you. He looked at Ethan kindly. Seems like today is that day. Weeks later, things changed. Liam slowly recovered. Every time he came to the office with his parents, he ran straight to the gate. Uncle Eli. He would shout, hugging him. Ethan did something else too. He called all the staff to the lobby. Eli stood, confused. Why did you call me, sir? He asked. Ethan stood beside him and took the mic. Today, Ethan said, I want to correct a very big mistake. He looked at Eli. Many of you saw how I insulted this man. How I laughed at his simple gift. How I treated him like he was less than me. He paused. His voice was heavy with regret. But what you didn't see is that he saved my life when I was a child. And a few days ago, he saved my son's life too. Gasps went around the room. Eli looked down, embarrassed. I should have been the one giving him a gift, Ethan said. Not the other way around. He turned to Eli. From today, Ethan announced, Eli is not just our security guard. He is our chief of safety. He will get a better salary, a proper office, and full medical support for his family. Eli's mouth fell open. Sir, I don't know what to say, he whispered. Ethan smiled through tears. Say yes, he replied. And please, never call yourself just a guard again. Everyone clapped. Some had tears in their eyes. Mia smiled proudly. Grace wiped her cheeks. Liam ran to Eli and placed something in his hand. Uncle Eli, Liam said, this is for you. Eli opened his palm. It was a new toy car. Shiny. Bright. But simple. Now we both have one, Liam said. So you never forget us, and we never forget you. Eli hugged the boy gently. Tears rolled freely down his face. Sometimes, the people we look down on are the ones holding our whole story together. Never judge a person by their clothes, their job, or their gift. The poorest man in the room might be the one who saved your life.